Okay, hello everybody. I just type in my welcome here. And just say hi for me in the chat just so we can connect. uh, I'm just typing in my message here. Uh, there you go. There's Diana. Hey, good to see you. And before I get started, I forgot, sometimes I forget, but my little disclaimer. And hi, Anna. Hi, Divine Intervention. Hi, Lauren. So, coming into being, today is the December 15th, 2021. My name is Marianne Carduner with unboundedandfree.com. I'm not a medical doctor or therapist. I don't diagnose or prescribe or heal. I can scan your frequency and energy patterning and tell you what I see. Please consult a doctor or therapist for professional advice. All content is copyright protected, and you may not use our content in any way, shape, or form without our written permission. So, who else? Oh, Rinky. Hi, Rinky. Um, and Sophia. Hello, Sophia. So, got some new people in the crowd, so that's nice and welcome. And so let's get settled in here. Take a couple deep breaths. As I just kind of tune into the group. Okay. I'm gonna say this straight off because I was noticing this before the session and I'm noticing it now. Okay. What I do when I set up the space is I set up a space for the work. There's interesting stuff that sometimes shows up in the space around. Hi, Elizabeth. And so there are some interesting characters that are showing up. They're all kind of outside the space. So if you notice that, I see them as outside the space. So they're kind of looking in, they're kind of checking in on us. So it's kind of interesting because that coming into being has been pretty calm in terms of those kinds of presences showing up. But today they're showing up. Wow. Okay. So yeah, so let's get started because I'm already picking up some stuff on people, and as so kind of come into your breath and just feel your breath and notice your breath and kind of allow that to slow you down. One of the things I want to say is that because this came up in conversation today, something that happened around where I live, and this is a very small town, and it's a very quiet town. It's been very calm, very peaceful. Um, and the past year and a half, when a lot of places are going absolutely berserk. Um, but there was a basically very sadistic thing that happened involving a a small animal, which I won't go into details. The animal is fine, but it was just when I heard what happened, it's crazy. So what happens is that this is an example of what happens when people are at a low vibration, and the vibrations of the whole globally, universally are increasing. Hi, Kayla. And it puts a lot of pressure on things that are of lower vibration. And the lower vibration you are, the worse it is. So that starts to create a lot of inner tension. And then, hi, Laria. And the person can't hold it. I mean, they just go nuts and they get taken over. Basically, that's sort of like getting taken over by whatever is causing those low vibration frequencies within. So I think everybody here kind of knows about all that. So it's very. So I'm bringing this up because it's very important to connect with ourselves and come into ourselves and that alone is a very simple tool that we have of just coming into ourselves, connecting more deeply so that we can clear what is not aligned with our pure essence within. So literally, it's like coming into your body. And hi, Michelle. Coming into your body is a primary key tool that we have. Easy to do. Of bringing our awareness into our physical body because that will clear what is not us to begin with. And the reason that this stuff comes in is because we're not in our bodies. We're not in connected connected in. So I talk about the energy field, which is overlaps with which is part of the spirit body, but kind of overlaps with the spirit body. The spirit body, very technically, is one of the external layers of the one of the higher vibrating layers of the energy field. My father's baby is on the phone with me, and maybe you're feeling him too, that he is at the mental hospital. So low vibration, I think. Well, that comes into play. So, and the environment, it's interesting because I see him as um, doing all right considering where he is, but around him there are people who are not holding it very well. He's an interesting person with that. It's like my sense is that he has enough awareness of himself that he knows what's going on, but not enough kind of ability to kind of keep himself in check and move into the other direction, if that makes sense, Anna. So, anyways, so I'm bringing this all up because this is part of this what I do these for is to help you guys to give you guys some time, space and time to gather together and really practice and work with this and come in together. And we're all working on this together, and I'm kind of guiding the whole group and to really come into ourselves and come into our being. And that's the most important piece we can do for ourselves, regardless of whatever e- else we want in our lives. The first person I studied with, he brought in a lot of deeper wisdom from basically the Vedic tradition because he had reached higher levels. Basically, enlightenment is what we would term it in those days, but higher levels of consciousness back then, and spent many years training with people who had higher consciousness. And one of the things he said, it's like, okay, get yourself to the top of the mountain. There's a gem mine, gold mines. There's all these wonderful mines along the way that we could harvest. These buildings that we could harvest along the way, but he would say, just get to the top of the mountain, because once you're at the top of the mountain, you own everything that's down below. So this coming into being is what that's about. Anna, so Anna, yes, Marianne, totally right. He is like that. So that's relative to Anna's guy. Yeah, so interesting. Yeah. Yeah, and I feel like he's actually kind of allowed himself to be there because it helps him keep him in check because he's not quite in that place of doing it for himself. So good for him for doing that. But yeah, the environment is not real good. Great way to think of that. Yes, getting back to being at the top of that mountain. So it's really hard. Sometimes it can be really challenging because we want these things where we feel the lack that we don't have in whatever. And so the more we can plow through that, the more we can just hold steady with ourselves, the better off we are, So, all right. So we're really going to focus on that today, of really connecting with ourselves and coming into ourselves, like always. So everybody take a nice, slow, deep breath in all the way to the top. Hold it for, I don't know, 3, 4 counts. And then as slowly as you can, release it out. And what I want you to do is release all the way out. Release just like squeeze that breath out of your lungs, and then just allow that in-breath, it's just automatically gonna kick in, back in. And notice how your breath has just slowed down a little bit, and just doing that alone helps you to kind of get into deeper, stiller place with yourself. Okay. Rinky, you're really showing up. So I'll go through and check everybody, but Rinky, you've been showing up since the beginning, and at least at spirit level, you look depressed, or you look, you know, it kind of maybe not depressed isn't the right word, but there's this heaviness on you that's really showing up. So I just want to say that. So let's we'll work on that for you. And also get you to work on that for you by just coming into yourself along with everybody else. Um, I'll see if anybody else pops in before I get to people. Yeah, we'll get into some other stuff. There's some other stuff showing up, but let's first really get settled, get grounded. So bringing your awareness down to the core of the earth. I'll focus on getting everybody. My energy has been low. Yes. Joy, you're good. You're the right place today, Michelle, for shifting that. So yeah, interesting. So there's like this, it's almost like this little plateau. I'm gonna pull it down because it's it's like this barrier for just about everybody. Kayla, you're actually not there. I see you as not having that kind of plateau thing below you, but so keep focusing your awareness on the core of the earth. Just kind of like imagine you're just dropping down into the core of the earth. You know, if you want to see an elevator or a slide or whatever, or tube that you're just sliding down and going all the way down. Yeah, hey, we've got some interesting interference going on here. And that is not the norm here. That's okay. We'll gently escort that out the door. Please leave your distortions and interferences at the door. Thank you. So there we go. Yeah. Yep. Okay. So just everybody kind of just getting a little bit calmer. So there's just a nuance of the whole group getting more settled. So that's nice. I'm not keen on having these kind of interferences, so I'm not good at putting up with bullshit. Make lunch for the girls, but I have been feeling super solid despite getting challenged all day. Yes, that's probably why you're showing up with no. Can you check my daughter? Doesn't want to talk to me. I think it's because she carries some of my burdens for sure. Okay. Yeah, I'll come back to I'll get back to you if there's information coming through. So I'll come back to you in a minute. Sev Boo. Hi, Marianne. Hi, Sev. I have no idea who you are. You're new to the group, so welcome. Whew. All right, so everybody take another nice deep breath in. There we go. Coming into that deeper space for everyone, yeah. So see if you can notice this place that the whole group is coming into. There's a stillness, it's not quite that deep stillness, but there's more, it's deeper than it was a few minutes ago. There's a quiet to the space. See if you can notice that for yourself. I'm just going to raise the whole space up here. So just keep focusing on your breath and on yourself, like connecting to yourself, your spine or your body, physical body. As I do this, here we go. Nice. Okay. We're getting there. Much bit brighter space. Just kind of cleaning up some people here and there because there's some stuff showing up on individuals. Yeah, notice that quiet. You know, and it's not like it was noisy before. And Ilari, I'll check in a minute what you've got there. But when there's a shift and we come to a higher place, I will get to, yeah, Ricky, I saw your thing, so I'll get to that too. I'll get to the messages in a little bit. So already, so let's just take a minute here or so to just come into that deeper rest. Because when we get into that quiet, that opens the way for us to rest, to come and rest into ourselves. Yeah, so emotional stuff is starting to show through. It's starting to come through for some people, so that's okay. That's good. It's coming to the surface instead of being pushed back down. Rinky, I don't think you like your job. The stress with work stuff, I have a feeling you don't want to be there. So that gets kind of difficult when we don't want to be somewhere and we are, and maybe you feel kind of like you have to. You're either some kind of obligation, you know, whether it's obligation to be to achieve, to be a certain way, whatever. So that's part of what's making it hard for you to be at work, if that makes sense. God, it's like, Rinky, it's like you're in a cage. It's like you go to work. It's like being in a cage and you want to be free. You're that little bird in the cage who just wants to be free. So that connects up with work, but it connects up with what you think you're supposed to be and do in life, if that makes sense. Okay. So let's at least give you some room to breathe so you can have some space to contemplate that and contemplate what you need to do about that. I think I would be surprised if everybody on the call has been in that place. And I kind of laugh. I've been in that place. I've never been able to last very long. In a long time ago, in a couple work situations I was in, you can't breathe, you can't do anything. And it got so bad that one night I woke up and I couldn't breathe. So it was kind of like an asthma attack. And just that one night. So I don't have asthma, but it's like that feeling of asthma. You can't breathe in. So I'm not going to take the cage away from you, because you need to do that for yourself. You need to step outside of out of your own cage, but just kind of giving you more space to really look at that for yourself and be able to start kind of thinking about what else you can do for yourself. So, all right, everybody, nice deep breath in. Kind of relaxing a little bit more. So coming into that deeper breath, gonna kind of open up the space even more for everybody. So everybody, just basically everybody feels a little tight here. Some of you not so much. Lauren, you look like you're doing okay, and Kayla too. Michelle, you're actually not doing too badly, but you're more aware of yourself. So when we are more aware of ourselves, then we kind of like notice smaller increments. It just happened to me at the physiotherapist appointment about not breathing well. Yeah. So Sophia, you've got a lot of stress. So that stress, that tension keeps you from breathing well. So there's a lot of fear, anxiety, fear that's coming in. So let's everybody do this again. Take a deep breath in. Hold it for a couple counts. You don't have to hold it too long, but then exhale, and you can exhale whatever rate you want to, but exhale all the way out. All the way out. Squeeze, keep squeezing those lungs, keep squeezing all the air out. The air just the breath just comes right back in. And that helps to get you into that breath. So every time you feel like you're holding your breath, just force the breath out, push the breath out, and that will help too. Because the holding pattern is at the top of the breath. It's like, so exhale it out. And that will help to kind of open up the air, the breath. Seems like I'm noticing everything now. Yes. Good work. Good work for yourself. Now, so when you notice that, you've always been noticing everything for yourself, always. You've always been this way. But what's happened is that you've kind of covered that up. You've tried to put on these layers, these buffers. People do it in a lot of different ways. Smoking is a way to do it. Drinking is a way of doing it. Getting stoned is a way of doing that. It's creating that buffer because of that hypersensitivity. So now you have enough strength within to come back to that and start and realize that. So like everybody together, we're going to do this because it's everything we are all doing here comes to the coming down to, getting to that top of the mountain. Come into your body, feel your body. Feel whatever you're noticing. If you're noticing something like Michelle is, and it could be something that feels like it's right there, and just come closer into your body and says, no, I'm here, putting your awareness on your body. I'm here. And if you feel like something like here, let's say it's here and whatever, because everybody here is sensitive to that non-physical level. So it could be something that's here. And even if it's nondescript, you don't know what it is, or it's just feels like there's some kind of pull or whatever here. So I'm here, that's there. That's there. Come back to yourself. I'm here. If your awareness is drawn to, let's say, all of a sudden you notice it's like you're kind of pulled out of your body because it's like, it's there. It's like, come back and I'm here. No, I'm here. Pull yourself back into your body. So much pain, injuries, pain, emotional, mental pain. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, you're kind of, I think you're in the process of working through your abuse patterning. So it's really showing you're really having a sense of what this is doing to you with the physical, emotional, mental pain, all of it. Boom. So and there's a lot of crying inside of you, Sophia. Yeah, because it's hard. It's been really hard for you. So take a deep breath into that and just feel into that. Let yourself rest into that. It's hard. It's hard to feel the pain. But don't use the pain to run away from yourself again. Because that's going to invite more abuse. So it's really hard. it hurts. It's very painful to feel that pain, but let yourself feel it as best as you can, especially in this space right now. Yeah. So everybody take a nice deep breath in. I'll get to the other ones, come back, but I know others of you have comments further up, so I'll get to that in a minute. Feel, okay, so outline of your body, feel your body. Sophia, do your best to get close to the pain, not necessarily 100% in, but as close as you can get where it's tolerable, where you feel it, it's tolerable, but not so much that you actually pull out. You know, so it's that delicate balance that you have to find. So kind of creep into it a little bit closer until you can feel like you want to pull back, but you're managing to hold. Okay, and just kind of take a deep breath into that and hold that. Everybody else, just really coming into your body. Hello, Wendy. Welcome. We welcome everybody here, including bots. We had bots last time visiting us, so everybody's welcomed here. Feel your breath, feel your body. Feel yourself relaxing more. This is not an easy session because we're not kind of really in that nice, comfortable place where everything feels grand. But this is a really important place to be. Of feeling that pain. So there's a group that's kind of on the lower side of that middle group, and then there's about two of you that are kind of the top end that I like coasting, relative to where the whole group is. So you're doing good, and it's nice to have you here because then you're also acting as a beacon to other people, saying, "Hey, I'm doing it, so can you," kind of thing. Then we've got a good middle group, and yeah, Sophia and Rinky, you're kind of more at the bottom end there, a little bit. That's okay. It's fine. You know, you're here, and that's an important piece. Ah. So coming into that breath, let's see if we can at least shift it to a little bit higher space for everybody, because this is kind of heavy. A little bit on the heavy side, you know, of kind of feeling that kind of that pain and that suffering, whatever degree that we hold, that we have. Okay, I'm going to be quiet for a little bit because what's happening with the frequencies that I'm bringing in now is that it's helping people shift out of, it's almost like shifting out of that identity that's down in that lower levels. Oh, yeah, and that just feels like it's relief for a lot of people because it's not something you get a lot. This sense of being okay, being in a space that is nurturing and supportive, where you can kind of finally just relax and let go. So and yeah, so I'm just gonna do this for a little bit longer because it's really nourishing for everybody here. And and some of you may feel like crying because it's like you've never had this in your life. It might be kind of the feeling of like being held by a mother who really loves you. You know, that. Yeah. And yeah, removing those influences from your lives, from around you that are not providing you with that sense of well-being. Of course, it comes from within, but when we aren't strong enough, then I kind of pray to those who might have malintentions for us, even if they're not conscious of that. Could be just coming through you. So that's kind of clearing that back from everybody. So that's helping to provide enough nourishment and strength to give all of you a little extra boost of determination, of wanting something better for yourself than what you've had before. So if we don't have that sense within ourselves, then it's hard to move forward in our lives, to make different choices. So for those who don't know me, have never watched me, it's like these jerks that just happen when there's shifting, when there's of patterns of frequencies of, to that's just the way it happens with my system. One more, Rinky, you're kind of the last one here. We're going to get you up to that higher level too. We'll get everybody on board here. You have some dark influences in your life, Rinky. Well, right now that's you pulled away from that, but that's up to you to keep it away from you also. There we go. Keep focusing on your breath and focusing on your spine, your body, and doing your best to hold your awareness on your physical body, no matter how much pain you might be noticing or distractions that might be coming up. just kind of keep coming back. You get pulled away because the pain or whatever else is distracting you, coming back to that, and just keep doing it over and over again. And each time you do it, it's like you're basically saying no to not connecting with yourself. Okay. So let's give everybody kind of a sense of freedom, because then that helps you. Um, if you have that, it's like having a reference point within yourself that guides you instead of looking for that reference point external to yourself. And when you can feel that you don't have it, yeah, Elizabeth, I'll get to the questions in a minute. So just to let you know, I've seen your question, but I have to go back in the chat here. Okay, a little bit more solid. Good. It's a little bit calmer. It's not so heavy now for the group. There we go. Oh, okay. Now we've got a much nicer open space. Feel this for yourselves, guys. So just more expansive, calmer. There might still be that sense of a kind of heaviness and pain, but it's kind of more in the background. But it's like the expansion. It's like the ability to breathe, even if you're not in a place in a situation where you want to be. That ability to breathe, to kind of sit back and observe. So very good. All right, let me kind of scroll back up and take a look at what I've missed on the way down here. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, Michelle, energy has been low. I see one of the things that's going on for you is that it does take a lot of effort at the beginning. I mean, it's literally like lifting weights is the best analogy of um, so it's taking some effort for you to be in that place of noticing more and holding your space. So that's part of the low energy for you. So come back into yourself, take that time where you're just coming right into here. You can put your hands on your chest if you want to, connect in here, and let yourself know, okay, I'm here, we're together. And just kind of acknowledge, it's like, okay, I've been having a hard time, but it's okay. We'll just take a little break, be good to yourself, nurture yourself in the process too. Yeah. Making lunch for the girls. Okay. Saw that. Can you check my daughter? Oh yeah, right. So there's guilt that comes up for her, and kind of guilt shame. She wishes that she could be doing something, that she could just clear up this stuff and just could have like a normal life. But knowing you, and I don't think a normal life is. Oh, Severine, I didn't see. Hi, Severine, if you're still on. Uh, so Anna, yeah, with you, knowing you and a little bit about you and your family, I mean, normal, you are in your normal life. The problem is we have this, what we see like on TV, Leave It to Beaver kind of image for the Americans who know this. Um, but just where everybody's happy, everybody gets along, everybody's fine. We don't have all this stuff floating around us that's distracting us. Da, 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 da. We think that that's normal, but you are in a normal life when you are aware of all of what you are aware of, what all that information that comes into you. That's just who you are. And denying that piece is creates a lot of stress for us. So, wow, yeah, she's okay. It goes back to when she was a little girl. What was she upset? Boy, she was really upset about something. Um, I want to say around 5, 7 years old. That's the feel. Um, and something happened. Is this your older daughter? It's like something happened that really upset her, and just made her really sad. Like wishing that it almost feels like it was like, she that her parents got separated or divorced, and she was just really sad, about it, and really wanted for everything to be okay. So she's still carrying that. So I wouldn't say so much it's carrying your burdens, but it's just in that place of wishing that things had been different, and back then. So let's see if I can just do a quick little shift for her there. Let's see what else. Ilaria, okay, check on my daughter and her school, which is controlling Yeah, well, ooh, do you see some positive shifts for her? Um, well, she needs to learn to work with that, unfortunately, because I don't see the school environment unless you take her out of that school and place her in a school that doesn't have that, which doesn't seem likely. She needs to work with that. So that's something you can work with her, and helping her to really just own herself, to realize that this is not her, this is their stuff. Yeah, she might have to like comply to a certain extent, but even in complying, so this is for everybody, even in complying and doing something, do it because it's your choice to do it, not because it's something that's being imposed on you. And that will make all the difference, because we just sometimes are in situations when there's no way around this. So, like, for example, for Laurie and her daughter in school, um, and that will help her. So, for you, talking to her, and it's not telling her that it's not her fault, but it's helping her to see that so that she can say it for herself. She can actually literally say, "Yeah, that's right. This isn't about me. This is them, and the hell with them," and when you can get to a place where you can actually laugh about the stuff, it's really good, and sometimes it's just helpful to, in your mind, see the situation and just see how ridiculous these people are. In your mind, it doesn't have to be in person, but, even at home, you laughing about it. So that'll help her a little bit. And the son, pineal gland, he has a cyst. Can you tell if it is stationary, reduced? So my question was that is how psychic is your son? And how psychic is he, and how accepting is he of those abilities? Because that's going to be part of the catch there. Um, so my sense is that the more he's resistant and the more he resists those psychic, what we'll call psychic abilities, the more that's just gonna keep it in place. Um, so it would be good to find a way to work with him with that part of himself. Uh, yeah, I've seen that before. Um, right now, to me, it feels like that cyst is kind of stubbornly hanging on to. So I would say stationary. um, uh, it doesn't feel right now, at least, that it's growing, but that just it's just kind of like hanging in there. So again, I'm not a medical doctor. That's just what it looks like at the energetic levels. Let's see. Okay. So much pain. Yeah. Oh, wait. What do I do about pressures? Oh, okay. From my school. My school is becoming controlling in a way. Um, yeah. You're just noticing this. I would say they've always been that way, but the more you come into, um, Wendy, I'll get to you in a minute. I just saw your thing there, your next comment there. So Elizabeth, yeah, what was I saying? Yeah, you're starting to notice that, and the more you become strong in yourself, the more whoever is controlling you is gonna freak out and try to control more. So, so what I said earlier about was it Ilaria's daughter in school, and learning to see that it's their self, learning to just be there, be present, um, and just stay with yourself. So, like the people who did apply stillness. This is why we did the stillness, to just come into that place of just observing, but just come into that place of just observe and be aware, and yeah, it gets really frustrating, and in some of these situations like that, there's not a hell of a lot you can do. I mean, you could decide to, like, homeschool, for example, but that would you know, you've got a lot of people involved, so, there might be a lot of people, like your family, that doesn't really wanna do that, but, so it's hard when you're, a teenager and you're under other people's auspices, kinda thing. So come into that place of really just acknowledging yourself, and you might have to comply. You might not like being controlled, but uh, just see it. It's okay. This is practice. This is what do we call mastery? Discipline. We were talking about discipline before, weren't we? So it's part of that discipline training of just, and for everybody, just kind of being there, being present, and kind of going in that do nothing place. I'm not going to do any, and because otherwise, if you're doing something with that, you're getting into that place of reacting, and you don't want to come from a place of reacting, because that's a place that out of bounds. Ooh, Alejandra, crazy week here. Welcome. Okay, Wendy, panic attacks. So, okay, the breath thing will help, but I'll just to help you kind of get into that place. Yeah, you've got this extreme fear that comes in. Let's see what that is about. Um, boy, it feels like at some time and place in existence, you were in a situation of extreme terror, um, extreme stress, and it was like live or die kind of situation. Yeah, so let's clear that up for you. And it's still there around you. Oh, so let's take care of that piece. Wow. Ah. Oh, man, that is pretty heavy there. Ah, okay. So if you can feel that, Wendy, there's been a certain amount of shifting for you in that. What I see is that your spirit is kind of like in a whole, just in a space of kind of an in between space. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But it's almost like it's still in a stun mode, a shock mode. So let's kind of just give it some space. Now there's still the pattern that might come up, the literal physiological pattern that might come up where you hear noise and you're like, and so walk yourself through that. It's like, no, it's okay. I'm here, present. Come, notice your physical environment when that comes up for you. It's like, I'm here. That was then. I'm here. This is now. Look around your environment. Connect with your environment. Feel. Notice your physical environment. Touch things. Feel things, and hold on to that. Oh, yeah. So send me a little note in the chat. Let's see how you're doing with that. Nice session. Yes, it was an interesting session today. Thanks for joining. Can you please have more clarity and understanding of what was the control from other XI people friends so I can spot and recognize and deal in my mind? Okay, so it's not so much about XI people or friends or stuff. It's just control from any external source to yourself. And the thing about friends, we can have very, very well-meaning friends and XI for those who you are kind of in the XI world. One thing we have to understand is people are at different levels, and we're all moving through our stuff. And even if we are in the XI group, we're all at different levels, and we're all moving through stuff. We're all going through patterns, and depending on the level of the person, the strength, the self-mastery strength that the person has, that might, they might be the control pattern mechanisms that you have from your life, from your own abuse pattern, that will come through. That can come through anybody. What I remember vaguely from last time is you had a particular person that was on your back that was basically just going for a ride on you. And so, at the energetic level, that's kind of using you because they don't have enough strength for themselves. So, how to recognize that? The best way to recognize that, wherever it comes from, is that you have to become more aware of yourself and your body and where you are in every moment. Because when you get really clear about, okay, me, this is me, this is what I feel like right now, something else comes in, and then, it's like, okay, let's say, just, okay, everybody right now, just kind of tune into yourself. Just notice where you feel. Like, everybody, just do this because this is really important. So just kind of feel where you're at right now, and whatever is going on, just notice it. Um, are you feeling tension anywhere? Are you you're feeling kind of disappointed, or your emotional state? You're happy. You're happy, positive or negative. Just kind of what is your starting point, basically? And just become really clear that, and you can practice this on your own, and you can literally kind of just go top to bottom, go through your body. Okay, what are you feeling? Just become real present in your body, and you can do that. Like, okay, in your house. So even if you're by yourself, go in your house, sit in one room, just see what you feel like in just sitting in that room. What is it that feels like? Where are you at sitting in that room? Okay, then go into another room. How do you feel going in how do you feel now? You're in another room. How does that feel to you? What are you noticing? You might notice, "Oh, wow, this is a tighter space." You feel like you're more pulled in. So becoming aware of yourself that way, and then, say if you're feeling pretty positive and then you go hang out with friends and you even for just 5 minutes, and then after that, you're feeling like, "Oh my god, I feel so tired. What happened to me?" That's an indication for you right there. So when you recognize stuff like that, go like, "Okay, no, wait, that's not me." Even if you say, "That's not me," you're not sure where is what, but it's like, "This is me. This is me." Coming to yourself. Hold on to yourself. So that's a little bit about, some of the things you can start doing. And, yeah, I left her with the dad. Yeah. So that was really hard for her for that. Um Rinky, thank you, Marianne. Not sure of the dark forces. Could you please elaborate a bit? Okay. What I saw happen is that when you pulled up, there was a dark figure that got left behind. So it's not to say that it's permanently left behind, but that's up to you in terms of if you start noticing that dark stuff is coming in. It's like, no, no, I don't want to go there. Let's tune in a little bit more deeply. Ooh. Um, yeah, you've got some dark stuff around you, kind of like witchy spell stuff. Mm, that is kind of okay. Is this going? I just check in with this. I want to double check this because I don't like to with this kind of information to just blurt it out too quickly. Okay, yeah, you do have some darker stuff. Um, where's that coming from? Family line, maybe 5, 7 generations back. Um, a contract, feels like maybe it's a family contract, and so that dark source is in, like, behind you. Ugh. Alright, I can see if I can shift that for you. Ooh, okay. Not happy about that. Okay, give me a minute, guys. I will get to everybody. If we go over time, that's fine. No worries. Um, okay, I can't really break the contract because you're not strong enough yet. You will get a point where you are stronger, so then that contract can be broken, but you need to get stronger within yourself. It is kind of pulling I managed to kinda get it to pull back some. Um Ugh! So it's yeah, at least for now, it's willing to stand back some so that you can become stronger because that's gonna be better for them too, basically. Let me know how you're feeling with that, or what if you notice anything, Rinky. Ilaria, he is very sensitive and has abilities, but is resistant. Yes, there we go. I've seen it before. I had an incredible experience real quickly. Store, I used to do just sessions in store, like short 20-minute sessions. This young woman comes and she had a huge cyst on her neck. I'm like, "Okay, this is really interesting." And what was interesting is, like, let's say the cyst is here, I had my hand here, and she goes like, "That really hurts." And I'm like, "Okay, that's interesting because 'cause I'm not even touching her, right?" And I'm, like, kind of just pondering and just kind of tuning into that, and I said, are you do you really ha" I started asking her a question. I didn't ask her if she was psychic because we're in Bible Belt, country, but I just asked her, it's like, "Do you know that something's gonna happen before it does?" Kinda, kinda she's like she started coming out with all these stories, all these things over and over again. And given that we Christian Bible Belt, it was like, didn't, you know, that was not something that was very acceptable. So she was actually going to have it operated on. But so work. Okay, let's see. Do you suggest to work? How do you say? Okay, let me get to that in a minute, Ilaria. Alejandra, any thoughts on how I'm doing either in holding my space or in following curiosities towards future possibilities? You're actually doing both. Um, you're kinda you probably feel a little wobbly. I know you're with family right now, so you might be feeling a little wobbly with that, but you're actually doing pretty well, and you've I I I can see you kinda standing there just a little wobbly, and in your mind, you've got this that curiosity towards future stuff going. You get that curiosity spinning, so that's really, really good. So you look like you're doing pretty well in both of those. I think you'd like to be just not in your family space right now, and be able to go towards those curiosities. But that's okay because it's like that Einstein taking a nap. You're kind of doing that in a way, just spending time with your family, so you're not constantly in it. So it's kind of brewing on its own in the background, is what I'm seeing. How do you suggest to work with him? Cautiously with your next comment of his rebelling against me. Um, what I would suggest is, y you know, you might actually try listening to, like, the ply sessions, have that, kind of listening in the background. I don't know if you can do that with your kids or not, but even at a low level. Um Like the first one we did on Monday with the stillness, just to kinda bring and both of them, that would be good for both of them, just to kinda bring them in that space of stillness, of just that calm where there's nothing else. So, just to kinda help bring it all down, um, because unfortunately, he's kinda rebelling because he's trying to also find his own place in himself. So mom is one of the main targets for trying to move away from that, um, move into that rather. I had a very hard time with the stuff going on with my marriage at that time, and I just left him and the kids. Did not have a place to take them. Yeah, thanks so much. Yeah. So I've been doing better with my panic attacks. Okay, would love to get rid of them. So let's see, Michelle. There's a slavery piece coming up for you with this right today of past life. Uh, well, both past life and in family lineage, having been a slave. Ooh, yeah. Sorry, that's really heavy stuff. Yeah. Okay. Let's see if we can do just a little shifting for that. So I know we've worked on similar pieces before, but again, like what I said earlier about just kind of like when you feel that, it's like, no, this is there, especially if you can feel that panic attack. So first, like, exhale all the way out and then breathe back in because that will help to calm the nervous system, bring the nervous system down instead of like up here, bring it down. So exhale all the way out, breathe back in. You know that thing about breathing in the bag, that's kind of what it is. Exhale all the way out, come back in, yeah. And if you feel something external to you that's causing the panic, it's like, no, that's there. I'm here. That was then. This is not, this is there somewhere else. This is another time space. I'm here. I'm in the present moment. Look at, connect with your physical environment and just like say, hell no, you're not going to have me. So let me see. Oh, shift that a little bit for you. So there's some other lingering pieces, and I'm going to move on here, but start working with that. Can you please check my grounding around me on the right side? I was doing okay yesterday till I was resting in the late afternoon in the living room, felt heavy stuff in the living room, and then I did clear. So hey, look at what you just said. So I want to first point out to you, Sophia, and everybody else. You guys do this, and you think, I don't know what I'm doing. So that is relative to, that connects right back up to how can I spot and recognize and deal with this on my own? There you go. You have given yourself the answer. Notice where you are. So look at how clear you are and how good you are at what you've just described to me. You say this literally, so pay attention to yourself because you can feel it. Again, I'm going to read this out loud to everybody, so you guys hear this out because this is I get this a lot. I've always gotten, this always comes up. I'm until I was resting in the late afternoon in my living room, felt heavy stuff in the living room, and then I did clearing at my best. So felt heavy stuff in the living room. Okay, very good. This is how you notice if things are coming on. You notice that stuff. Okay, there's a lot of ways to handle it, a lot of things you could say. It's like, "Excuse me, out of here. You don't pay rent, I do. Get out." "Nope, sorry, this is my territory." Boom, bing. Um, so Rinky, can you tell me, so, I'm not clear if you noticed that was so we did some clearing around that dark stuff, and so, I was saying a bunch of stuff. Oh, it looks like we've got a bot that stopped in, very nice. Um so I kind of talked about it earlier. So come back and listen to this because we're not. It's can't really clear it completely. I mean, there's a thing where you've got to stop. Oh, okay. You're saying I feel much better since the beginning of the session. Okay, good. Yes. Hello, Mr. Bot, Mrs. Bot. Welcome to the group. Will actively staying present in my body help me be strong around the people at school? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely, Elizabeth. Very good. So great for saying it yourself. So you just, the teacher is going on about, getting into their control mode. Just feel that. Feel yourself, come into your body, notice your nose, and it's a little bit practice of like feeling yourself in your body and being aware of somebody talking to you and hearing what they're saying. But yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm open, but I'm not fully connected. It's as if there's a block. Okay. Uh, quickly, Wendy, let's check you again. Yeah. So are you holding on to that? Okay, part of that is that there's a way in which you're holding on to that because you're familiar with it. So it's like, I mean, it kind of it's weird, but I think we can all kind of relate to what I'm about to say in some shape or form, is that even if it's something negative, we're used to that. So it's like easier to be in that place of like, okay, because I'm familiar with that. Because if I step away from this, whether it's positive or negative stuff that we could be moving away from, um, and so yeah, so the positive is sort of like becomes a gilded cage where we're just in that. But it's like, well, this is familiar. And you see that with like people who are abused in relationships. It's like, but that person loves me. But it's only when he's really drunk. It doesn't matter. He's abusing you. End of story. And a kind of thing. But it's familiar. It's like, well, it feels safe because I know what's going to happen, even if it's negative stuff we don't want. And I can just be in this rhythm. I don't have to think for myself. So there's a little bit of, it's not quite that extreme with the you. It doesn't feel like it, at least, but it's almost like, well, you've got this buddy here. Um, so let's see if I can just kind of bring you a little bit of separation. You're going to have to do the stepping away from your, saying goodbye to your buddy here, quote unquote. Um, but let's bring just a little bit of separation for you. Um, yeah, and it's kind of like your buddy's kind of sad too, but it's like, it's okay. You could both grow. This is like, you're it's always hard to, like, step away from something that we're used to, or friends, or, it's almost like going from elementary school, and when your best friend ends up in another school from you, it's like, "Man, it's gonna be sad, it's gonna be hard," but it's okay. Oh, you both gives you both the space to grow. And so that's a little bit better. A little bit more breathing room, and you just wanna be careful about bringing that back in, and when you feel yourself kind of coming back into that habit, because it's just a habit, it's like this automatic patterning that you have, and when you feel yourself going into that, even if it's post facto, if it's weeks, days later, it's like, "Oh god, I did that again." Um, it's like saying, "Okay, no, let's take a step away from that. Let's try to move away from that," kind of thing. See how that feels. Eddie Laria, maybe some nice relaxing time just doing whatever he wants to do while around him, either joining him in the activity like video games, TV, just relaxing by him while he does them. Yeah, that's a very nice suggestion, Kayla, for Ilaria and her son to bring him out of that resistance. Yeah. And uh, okay, you got the message. Yeah, very good. Yeah, and then you can kind of play it in the background. So doing something that's, yeah, thanks for that, Kayla. Very good. Um, my energy has definitely shifted to a higher place since we started today. Yeah, good. I hope so. Very good. So a little longer, but a lot of good, important questions to cover for everybody. So thank you all for joining, coming. Another intense session, but good. So again, coming into your being. Oh, I have some announcements. Just sharing what I'm up to. Um, so next Thursday, we're going to do land clearing for Australia. So it's going to be here, same channel, same time, 4 o'clock, 4 p.m. So come and join in, and everybody who joins in, you kind of act as a beacon of light, and you also get a clearing in the process. But for the Pure Life Infusions series in January, it's showing up to be good. Like going deep into that deep place again, like we did this mid-January. Have an event that's up on the website, uh, basically called Clear Ends for Fresh Beginnings. So there's 3 parts basically of clearing out all the old stuff, all the old connections, all that no longer serves, really kind of coming into a deep place within ourselves so that we can fully step in freshly into the new of what's ahead. There's some interesting stuff that came through this morning, or was it yesterday morning, on with the different layers of the energy field, because that's kind of my background, what I've worked with, but working with each one in a different way. So I think there's a class in the making there that would be like once a week for so many weeks, like 7-8 weeks, because there's 7 layers of the field to work through, and they each have a different way of being cleared and being worked with. So what's the use of that? The use of that is helping you to go through your detox process better, clear yourself, move. It's about that self-mastery. In doing this kind of process, you get to know yourself better, connect with yourself, and know how to work with yourself better. Um, so that that is a little feels like it would be a little bit more advanced class. I will have kind of a precursor to this class, which is gonna be, no set date, but somewhere in February, of an experiential, like, 1 to 2-hour class. Very experiential, like, teaching you, taking you through the steps, you learning the stuff, to clear yourself. It's kind of a self-care at the non-physical level. So learning tools that are simple and easy for you to use to again to strengthen yourself to be able to clear stuff up for yourself more easily, more quickly. So that's all up on my webpage for you, for those of you new website unboundandfree.com. If you go look at under events and upcoming events, there's a little link I have to take care of in the ongoing events. There doesn't quite go to the right place, but so excited for all that cool stuff. Yes, I'm excited. It should be really interesting. And then we also have there's a women's event and a money event also in the works for like about spring, but money specifically for women. So it should be really interesting. Thank you, Wendy, for coming. So I hope that was helpful. Please do let me know if you're feeling better. Okay, good job, everybody. Long session, long hard work. Whew, like an hour and 20 minutes. All right, boo-boo, the power session here today. So, all right, thanks for showing up, and see you next week. Next week, we got one week, then a little break for the end of the year. And then, so next Wednesday here, next Thursday, um, uh, clearing for Australia. So that should be really interesting. Feeling better. Great. So glad to hear that, Sophia. So thank you all for showing up, and we'll see you in the ethers and somewhere on one of these at some point. So thanks for stopping by.